topic. Many times, I'm curious what you thought of what Joe Reed had to say after Game 2 in Phoenix, or Game 3 in Phoenix, and the reaction to it.
I mean, I think that she made a lot of valid points. You know, a lot of the same kind of conversations are happening. You know, it's happening from every team, from every franchise, from every coach, from every player. And I think at some point there has to be some accountability.
Anything new the film revealed to you yesterday about Game 3 struggles you'd like to see addressed today?
Yeah, I mean, I think number one, you know, obviously we got to make shots. We got to make our layups. You know, we were inefficient in around the paint as well. In our free throws, we got to make shots. You know, we've got to continue to make some adjustments in our coverages and be committed to executing our coverages. Every time we weren't doing that, they capitalized on it. In particular, in that game, it was Jackie. And so I think for us, just making sure that, again, we have more resistance, we have more commitment to executing coverage, and then we have to make adjustments once they make adjustments and tweaks to how our coverage is happening. So we just have to be at a different level. I still felt really good about where we were at various points in the ball game, and it just comes down to players making plays.
You've been in a back against the wall situation just last round where you had to win 2 games in a row. What's the mindset kind of going into this game?
No, I mean, it's desperation. And it's not a reckless desperation. It's just a desperation in terms of the urgency that you have to play with. We have been in these situations. We've been in lots of different situations throughout the course of the season. And our players understand what we have to do. We have to leave it all out on the floor.
Lexi mentioned standard over feeling, and so that's kind of been the mantra at the beginning of the season through.
Mm-hmm.
Could you just share what the inspiration behind that was, the thought process and the importance of that is, you know, over the course of the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's something that we have to do. You know, I work a lot with Ben Newman, and you know, he's a mental skills trainer and performance coach, and you know, oftentimes, and Sydney Colson said this in our very first meeting that we had, and when we were talking about just what it takes to be a champion, and you know, feelings are fleeting, and there's a lot of ups and downs throughout the course of a season. There's a lot of ups and downs in life, and you know, for us, like, we have to compete to a standard, and we have to put that above everything else. We knew that we had a deep roster and players were going to be in and out of rotation at times. Well, we got to compete for the we got to compete to the standard no matter what. We know that you're going to go through ebbs and flows in terms of shots falling and not falling. Well, we got to compete to the standard no matter what. We can't let that affect everything else. And I just think for us, it's a mentality that we're trying to really embrace, and make sure that we can continue to put our best foot forward.
Steph, I think it was Aaliyah that was saying the other day she thinks this group plays best when they're playing free.
Mm-hmm.
In a game like this, what is the balance, I guess, of playing with urgency and desperation but not playing like you're feeling the pressure and that it's going to kind of get to you and work against you?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a difference in urgency and in hesitancy, right? Like, we got to have a sense of urgency in that we can't get beat to loose balls, that we have to be committed to boxing out every possession. We have to be committed to being great screen setters, all of those things that you can control that make big differences, that are playing in the margins, so to speak. But we need to play free in that, like, look, there's not a lot of pressure on us. Like, we have to come out and we got to take our open shots. I felt like there were multiple times where we didn't even look at the rim. I feel like we've got to play with confidence and understand that we've earned the right to be here, and go out and compete at a high level. And when you leave everything on the floor, when you control the things that you can control, you can always be proud of whatever happens.
Hey coach, there. First, happy birthday to your son.
Thank you.
Many Pacers players were in the building last time. The Colts players are ripping a Fever jersey in gear. What does it mean to you, this support?
I mean, look, I grew up in this state, and for me, you know, it's very much like a small community, and it's very much like a college vibe, college atmosphere, and continuing to see, you know, Pacers players, Colts players, our organizations support one another. I mean, our players are in the building for their games as well, and getting the support from them and the community has been terrific. I mean, it's a sports town. We love each other. We pull for each other. We're proud of one another's successes. I feel like we lift one another up, and it's just it means a lot. It's a really special place, a really special city, and special organizations.
You talked about having been in these backs against the wall moments already. How much does that help that this isn't necessarily a new feeling for you guys?
I think it helps. You know, again, there's no substitute for experience, and having been in this situation hopefully will allow us to play more free. We have been sometimes playing our best basketball in these moments, and I think that it certainly does help us, and hopefully it'll give us an advantage here today.
Steph, what more do you need for your point guard position out of today?
We got to get production. I mean, we've got to get downhill. We got to make sure, whether it's the ability to create for herself or for her teammates, Shay knocking down shots, making sure that we're getting high quality, high percentage looks from everybody else, and setting the tone on the defensive end.
Steph, back to the officiating, don't want you to get funny
Yeah.
or anything, but a lot of people have called out more of like the structural things that could be changed or could evolve as the league grows. Is there anything that comes to mind that you'd like to see maybe addressed as as the league moves forward in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, I think just as much as anything, when I alluded to it earlier in the year, it's like every part of our league has gotten better, and that part is lagged behind for whatever reason. Oftentimes it's infrastructure in terms of training. Oftentimes it's financial, right? And it's really investing in who we have as officials, and sometimes it's manpower. Like, who's coming into the program? How do we get them to stick around? How do we keep them growing and getting better? Do we have more resources to support them? Do we have more resources to help, whether it's something like a replay center and we're not here? And those are conversations that continue to be ongoing. But I think to reiterate the fact that our players in this league deserve growth in that area as well is important. But ultimately, we all know that when you are trying to invest in an area of business or of sport or whatever, it comes down to resources, and providing the right resources and having many resources as possible for success in those areas, I think, is important.